A community coming together.
I never lose my church, never lose my Savior. That's the best man.
As a local landmark and worship center burns to the ground.
God already knows what he's got planned for us.
The First Baptist Church saddened but not broken. The pastor's message to his congregation and the plans they already have for the future.
And roadside delivery.
The baby has been born.
We'll introduce you to Cambria County's newest arrival who just couldn't wait to say hello.
I was like, oh my God, I just had my kid on the side of the road.
6 News, coverage you can count on, in high definition, starts now.
6 fire departments in Cambria County and dozens of firefighters spent most of their overnight battling intense flames and heavy smoke at a church right in the middle of Nanny Glo Borough, the First Baptist Church on 2nd Street that's been a part of the community for more than 100 years. Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. That fire broke out just before 1 a.m. Firefighters were on scene for several hours, and we were there too, well into the morning.
It's just a building. It's 102 years old, but it's just a building. The church is actually home in bed, so we're going to be all right.
Words of encouragement during a night with such destruction. The pastor of First Baptist Church in Nanny Glo saddened but not broken as he and his community watched their church go up in flames early Sunday morning.
We stood and held hands here and we prayed for wisdom and discernment to make good decisions for our congregation. He's going to help us to do that. We just don't want anybody to get hurt. It's just stuff. That's all it is.
The fire intense when it broke out just before 1 a.m., as seen in these pictures shared with us by Michael Byler. Nanny Glo and 5 surrounding fire departments rushed in to battle the flames and were just about to go inside when the roof collapsed.
We just forced the doors open to the front and the back of the building. They were literally just going through the thresholds of the doorways, and that's when the roof came down. We ordered everybody out as the roof came down.
So a couple of seconds later, God answers prayer.
When we got on scene about 40 minutes later, the flames were controlled, but the smoke was still billowing into the sky. 2 ladder trucks and dozens of firefighters dousing the collapsed structure with water, as many in the small town came out of their homes to watch.
As of right now, there's no injuries, minimal damage to the exposure buildings on either side. Crews did a good job keeping the fire off of them.
God was really good. God protected all the firemen.
Now, Gino Bartoletti isn't only the pastor of that church, he just happens to be the chaplain for the Nanny Glo Fire Department, which offered its social hall so the church and its congregation could have service this morning. Jacqueline Kovac was there and has that part of the story. Now, the church says it will meet again next Sunday at the fire hall for service, and in the meantime, will plan a meeting so that they can determine together where they go from here. In Jefferson County, authorities are investigating a fire in DuBois last night. 911 dispatch tells us the flames broke out around 8:30 at a house on Armintus Street in DuBois. Dispatch says the damage sounded pretty severe. Luckily, no injuries were reported. We're told that the city fire chief and a state police fire marshal were there investigating today. As soon as we hear back from them, we will bring you an update. In Clearfield County, authorities are still investigating the death of a hunter yesterday morning. Clearfield County Coroner Mike Morris tells us that Richard Bilodeau was hunting in Chest Township when he was shot with a crossbow and died from an arrow wound to his upper right arm. Authorities say they still believe that it was an accident, but they will continue to investigate with help from the Pennsylvania Game Commission to figure out what went wrong.
I was scared. Anything could have went wrong. Anything. With the baby, Katie, and everything went perfect.
Right now, a Cambria County couple is welcoming their newborn son into the world, but the way he got here was nothing short of incredible. Sarah Small talked with them today, and Sarah, love this story. Little Owen was born right on the side of the highway.
That's right, Maria.
Sarah, thanks. Authorities in Clearfield County looking for 2 men accused of breaking into a back porch in Osceola Mills last night. State police say a woman heard a noise on her back porch, and when she turned on the lights and looked outside, they say 2 men wearing dark clothes and hats left quickly in a small black car. Anyone with information should call state police in Clearfield. In Johnstown this afternoon, dozens of 1st and 2nd graders took on each other in a game of flag football. It's part of a program sponsored by the NFL called the NFL Play 6.
Starts with breaking news.
Good evening. That breaking news tonight out of Westmoreland County, where an officer has been shot on duty. This happened just after 9:30, and right now it's still a very active scene. Sources tell us the officer was responding to a domestic dispute at a house along Ligonier Street in New Florence. It was in the 100 block of Ligonier Street. Initial reports from first responders on scene were that the officer was shot down in the front yard, the house behind him on fire. Information right now very limited. First responders in surrounding counties also called in to help. It's a very active scene. This is from our photographer on scene right now, seeing some police flying into the area right now. Our photographer there is being kept back. Officers telling her that the shooter is still on the loose. She's being kept back about a mile or so as officers search for the suspect. Still not clear, though, what's happening at the actual house or if it's even still on fire. Again, though, a very active scene right now in an area that's rather rural. It's dark out. We know that special response teams are being called in. Cambria County CERT on its way. Right now, though, our Jacqueline Kovac is at Conemaugh Memorial Medical Center, where the officer was transported. Jackie, what do you see? What can you tell us? All right, Jackie, thanks. Obviously a very active situation, a lot unfolding right now as we speak. We do have a crew at the scene. Jackie, of course, at the hospital, and we're going to stay here throughout the night until the situation wraps up. We don't have a newscast overnight, but be sure to stay with us on air and online at WJACTV.com and on our Facebook page. Continuing to follow that breaking news out of Westmoreland County, where an officer has been shot on duty in the New Florence area. It's still a very active scene right now. Our affiliate WPXI in Pittsburgh says this was a New Florence police officer. Sources tell us he was responding to a domestic dispute at a house along Ligonier Street in New Florence. Initial reports from first responders were that the officer was shot down in the front yard of a house, the house behind him on fire. Right now, the suspected shooter still on the loose. Sources tell us they are searching homes. They're searching homes of his family members, his friends, anyone he may know. It's a very dark time of night right now. It's in a rural area. There's many places in that area right now where he could be hiding. Police searching just about everywhere. We do have a crew there at the scene. They're being held back. Jacqueline Kovac is still at Conemaugh Memorial Medical Center, where the officer was brought. We don't have a newscast overnight, but be sure to stay with us online. We will continue to follow the story and update it as we can. Josh?
That's right.
It has been a cold, windy day for much of the region today. A rainy and snow mix coming down off and on. The wind powerful, knocking down trees, power lines. Several reports coming in of wires down, debris on the roads. Good evening. Thanks for being here. We're going to get right to Josh. Josh, the wind howling outside this morning. The fire whistles were blowing. How long do you expect before the winds start to die down?
It's probably going to be the better.
All right, Josh, thanks. An Elk County woman in jail tonight accused of stabbing a man while police say he was holding a toddler. Police say it happened early yesterday morning at a home in Jay Township. Rosalind Gursky facing several charges tonight after police say she stabbed a man in the back with a knife while he was holding a 2-year-old boy. Fortunately, police say the man suffered only minor injuries. That child was unharmed. Gursky arrested, taken to jail on $10,000 bonds. Well, it's a story we've brought to you for the past couple of days now. A Johnstown woman brutally attacked inside her own garage by a man she didn't even know. And as police continue to track down leads in search for her attacker, her friends and family came together today to rally around her. Jillian Hartman was there. Jillian, thanks. An already convicted and registered sex offender in Blair County behind bars again on charges he assaulted a young girl for nearly a decade. Gary Paul Miller in jail tonight facing 69 felony charges, accused of raping the girl, now 16, since the time she was 7. According to the Altoona Mirror, it was Miller's text messages to the girl that were discovered this past October, where police say he threatened to hurt her if she told anyone. Police say Miller gave the girl money and computers to keep her quiet over the years. Miller, who served a jail sentence last year after pleading guilty to felony prostitution, is back in jail tonight on $290,000 cash bonds. Windber police still looking for information tonight on 2 dogs they say were found dead in the same place 1 week apart. Police say the dogs, who both appear to be male pit bulls, were found dead on the banks of this stream behind 17th Street. One dog gray and white in color, the other one brown and white. Police still not sure if the dogs were killed by their owner or if they were taken from their homes. Anyone with information asked to call Windber Police. Well, if for some reason you haven't checked your Powerball lottery tickets yet, don't get your hopes up. For the 19th time, nobody won. The new jackpot is now over $1 billion. Who knows how high it'll be by Wednesday? An estimated 65% of all possible combinations were played last night, with no one hitting all numbers, getting that grand prize. That means Powerball fever just got even hotter. After building for 2 months, Wednesday's jackpot will be at least $1.3 billion, meaning the cash payout after taxes will be as much as last night's jackpot. So what does $1 billion buy? Well, NBC has crunched some numbers. You could get 4,000 Rolls Royces to take 9 million friends to Disney World and feed them 250 million cups of Starbucks coffee. Now back locally in Blair County, Powerball ticket sales are skyrocketing at Fifi's grocery store in Altoona. The manager there tells us she's worked with the owner for about 10 years and she's never seen ticket sales this high.
Out of 10 people who come in here, how many would you say has bought a Powerball ticket?
10. Yes, everybody has come in today and bought one. I think out of all of my customers, and I opened at 7 a.m. this morning, and I think 2 maybe out of everyone that's come in did not buy a Powerball ticket.
She tells us sales have doubled, and if she could wish for anything besides her winning, it would be that someone in the Altoona area wins. The 100th Pennsylvania Farm Show underway this weekend in Harrisburg, where today dozens gathered to watch the unveiling of the annual and always popular butter sculpture. This year's life-size sculpture features a dairy cow, farm family, baby chicks, and apple pies. Organizers say about 1,000 pounds of butter was used, and it took the sculpture a record-setting 14 days to complete. They say the butter is not edible, but it will be recycled to help power a nearby farm. Officials expect over 500,000 people to attend the farm festivities, which continue through next Saturday. Security is in place for the 73rd annual Golden Globes tonight, right here on NBC. Police officers and canines were seen as the final preparations were made along the red carpet today. Officials say security at this star-studded event is the main concern. Now, they didn't say how many security officers will be in place inside and outside the Beverly Hilton, but that it's more than ever. Ricky Gervais will host the award ceremony for the 4th time. It starts tonight at 8 o'clock right here on WJAC TV.